morning. Let's start the daily discussion. The first topic that we'll take up today is 10 years of Andhra Pradesh bifurcation. It has been a decade since Andhra Pradesh was divided into two states. The article attempts to examine the political, economic, and historical implications of this division, the Telugu people, and the Indian Republic. It is surprising to learn this fact that there is very little nostalgia for the nearly 5.5 decades of living together as one political entity among the people of both successor states. Because Andhra Pradesh were bifurcated and that Telangana was created at the demand of the Telangana Rashtra Samiti after more than 20 years of struggle. It is more than 10 years, but the nostalgia has not been reflected properly, has not been fulfilled. It raises question about the unit of Telugu speaking elites. They seem to be less unified than elites in Kannada or Marathi speaking region. There is speculation regarding whether these other linguistic groups may encounter analogous challenges in the future because of common regional disparities. As most states are based on language, people are asking if this principle should change. Should state be organized based on factors like territory or population instead? This division highlights the importance of India addressing these basic questions sooner than later. It raises question about disorderly bifurcation process, unfulfilled promises, and mishandling of asset distribution. Okay. It raises question about disorderly bifurcation process, unfulfilled promises, and mishandling of the asset distribution because when the states are created, the assets are distributed in the two states, but how far they have been done and how far it has fulfilled the expectation of the people has not been properly assessed till now. Okay, so what is the impact of this on the definition of the federal structure? Strain the federal structure in India, most states are organized based on language. So, because the first state reorganization commission divided the states or reorganized the states on the basis of language. Linguistic principle is the guiding principle for the reorganization of the states. So, strain the federal structure. India, most states are organized based on language, but some in the central region are not. The different size of the states translate into varying number of seats in the central legislature, which can cause tension due to unequal political power and resources. This unequal representation might strain the federal structure, making more regions feel marginalized. Okay, so altering power dynamics when Andhra Pradesh split, it changed which states had more political influence as the new one became smaller. The difference in size can make some region less important and other more important in deciding national power. When one state is divided or bifurcated, two states are created, the size of the state diminished. That resulted in its reducing importance in the national scenario because as the size get reduced, the number of MP elected from these states, the number started falling. So that state's importance in the national scenario get, no doubt, it get diluted. Discontent due to unequal political power distribution. Unequal political power distribution may also influence economic resources allocation, potentially leading to disenchantment among certain states. Concern 8 among certain states about the possible future delimitation favoring northern states with larger population. When the delimitation took place, so it is always based on the population dynamics. Okay, the bifurcation resulted in a fall in the population, so it is definitely an issue where falling number leads to reduced importance of the state, okay, in the national scenario. The bifurcation and its consequences merit closer examination to ensure a strong foundation for the fundamental principle of the Indian Republic. Okay, So China's proposal for a treaty on the no first use of nuclear weapons. Class beta. So the article discusses China's proposal at the United Nations for a treaty on the no first use of nuclear weapons by nuclear armed states, examines the skepticism around China's intention given its past action, and argued that a no first use policy would improve global nuclear security. The article also highlights the role of India could play in this initiative. Fine. This is a topic on international relation about India's relation with the neighboring countries like China. The article discussed China's proposal of the United Nations for a treaty on the no first use of nuclear weapons by nuclear armed states. It examined the skepticism around China's intention given its past action that argued that a no first use policy could improve global nuclear security. This article also highlights the role of India to play in this initiative. So why their skepticism of Chinese intention? Historical context: China has historically claimed to adhere to a no first use policy for nuclear weapon. However, its actions have often contradicted this stance. Proxy use: China has been known to utilize proxies like Pakistan and North Korea, which threaten nuclear action against strategic rivals such as India and USA, respectively. The technique allows China to expand its strategic influence without direct engagement. Okay, so nuclear expansion, despite its nuclear for no first use claim, China is actively expanding its nuclear arsenal and enhancing its delivery mechanism, action that seem inconsistent with a commitment to limit the use of nuclear weapons. Why the no first use policy considered important? Reduce risk of nuclear war. A no first use policy can decrease the likelihood of nuclear escalation among nuclear armed states by establishing a clear norm against the initial use of nuclear weapons. Environmental impact: even a limited nuclear exchange could have severe environmental consequences. A study by Mark J. Jacobson from Stanford estimates that a small nuclear exchange could release over 690 million tons of carbon dioxide, which is more than US annual emission. So, this is where the threat of the nuclear radiation emission of carbon dioxide through the nuclear radiation. So global stability: implementing a no first use policy contributes to global stability by preventing the catastrophic humanitarian and environmental effect of nuclear warfare. Okay, so how this global response shaping us? In United States, the Biden administration appears open to discussing China's no first use proposal. However, significant action is unlikely before the presidential election on November 5th, indicating cautious approach. United Kingdom likely to align with the US position, showing a tendency to follow the lead of its close ally rather than initiating independent policy movement. Russia appears supportive of China's proposal, reflecting strengthened ties between Moscow and Beijing, which could influence other discussions on global security. crucial participant. India's involvement is deemed necessary for the successful global no first use treaty, as their participation could lead to lend significant weight to the initiative. Potential to influence China. If China invites India to partake in no first use discussion, it could signal a genuine commitment from Beijing and potentially enhance the proposal's credibility. Counteracting regional tension, India's support for the treaty could help stabilize regional nuclear dynamics, particularly with neighboring countries like Pakistan. Trafficking of young born children. The article highlights the issue of the recent interstate baby smuggling racket busted by the Telangana police. Okay, next topic is about the young born children. Interstate gangbang smuggled children from Delhi and Pune and sold them to prospective parents in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So, what are the reasons behind the interstate baby smuggling? Criminal activity are often driven by combination of socio-economic factors such as poverty, wealth, and unmet needs or desire. Supply side, poverty often compels biological parents to sell their newborns for mere sum. Newborns are also smuggled from government hospitals with lax security, where the security is less, so newborn were smuggled from there also, lifted. Childless couple are eager to have children but face long waiting times 2 to 4 years for legal adoption of children under 2 years. The shortage of baby available for adoption has led to the demand for seeking illegal supply avenue where they purchase the baby and the smugglers get a business by kidnapping or by stealing them and selling them. What should be the way forward? Poverty alleviation. The government should undertake effective poverty alleviation schemes. There should be the creation of employment opportunity for youth. That adoption reforms. The government should generate awareness about adoption schemes for biological and adoptive parents. The government should remove unnecessary bureaucratic processes in adoption. Law enforcement ensure effective policing to nip such plots in the bud. Children should not be treated not be treated as good to be bred from the open market when there is a shortage. This should be the strategy. Challenges in Indian current energy policy. Next is on energy issue. So the article discusses the need for India to update its energy policy to better manage fossil fuel and boost renewable energy, while also considering global competition and security concerns, especially with China's dominance in green technology and supply chain. What is the current energy policy in India? India's energy policy is dual pronged, focusing on both fossil fuel and renewable energy. The fossil fuel strategy emphasizes reducing import and dependency on petroleum through diversified import sources, strategic reserves, domestic explorations, demand conservation, efficiency, and environmental protection. The renewable strategy is aimed at accelerating the shift to clean energy with a long-term goal of net zero carbon emission by 2070 and a medium-term target of generating 500 gigawatt from the non-fossil fuel by 2030. Then what are the challenges? The current structure of India's energy policy is highly compartmentalized, with each ministry operating within narrow and rigid boundaries. The existing setup involves multiple ministries such as petroleum, coal, renewable power, heavy industries, mines and minerals, IT, information and environment, making coordination and streamlined decision making challenging. There is no formal executive forum for integrated discussion on energy policy. This hampers India's ability to meet its publicly announced decarbonization and sustainability target. What global dynamics influence India's energy policy? The resurgence of great power competition, reminiscent of a new Cold War between the US and its allies against China and Russia, influence India's energy policy. China's near monopoly on essential materials and green energy and its dominance in producing low cost solar power and wind turbines affect India's strategies. Okay, because there China is much ahead than India. The resurgence of great power competition, reminiscent of the new Cold War between the US and its allies against China and Russia, influenced the Indian energy policy. China's near monopoly on essential materials for green energy and its dominance in procuring producing low-cost solar panels and wind turbines affect India's strategy. The geopolitical tension and supply chain vulnerabilities impact India's approach to securing the diversifying its energy resources. National security concerns regarding the dependency on Chinese supply have led India to impose duty on Chinese import and promote domestic manufacturing through incentive like the production link incentive scheme by the government. What should be the next government do? The next government should develop a strategic framework that integrates fossil fuel and renewable energy policy into a unified approach. It should prepare a strategic document titled Energy Strategy towards convergence, security, and sustainability to guide policy integration. The strategy should address the relationship between hydrocarbon public sector enterprise and other energy companies to avoid duplicity of efforts and resources. A clear strategy for securing supplies of critical minerals like copper, lithium, nickel, and cobalt is necessary due to in market volatility and potential shortages. The government must also create incentive for private investment in green energy to mitigate risk aversion among investors. Recently, a dialogue on systemic issue of poor electricity supply faced by the farmers in Rajasthan has recommended the establishment of a farmer cooperative based distribution model with a regulatory availability under the Electricity Act 2003. The dialogue was organized by the Jaipur based Center for Energy, Environment and People as part of the Vidyut Samvad series year earlier this week. About the cooperative society definition, a cooperative society is a voluntary association of individuals with shared needs who come together to pursue common economic interest. Objective: the primary goal of any cooperative is to offer assistance to its members, particularly prioritizing the welfare of the underprivileged segment of the society through the principle of self-help and mutual aid. Operational approach: by establishing cooperatives, individuals unite as a collective, combining their individual resources, optimizing their utilization, and deriving mutual benefits. In a cooperative society, individual can join voluntarily. This is about the cooperative-based distribution model of power, and also liberty to exit, although they are unable to transfer their shares. Types of cooperative in India: consumer cooperative society, producer cooperative society, cooperative credit society, cooperative farming society, housing cooperative society, and marketing cooperative society. Different types of cooperative society are they exist in India. Aim of the 300 largest cooperative society globally, India is Amul, IFCO, CRIPCO are the major example of Indian example of major cooperative society which are very successful, and the most successful among them is Amul brand. So this is Anand Milk Union Limited, IFCO Indian Farmer Fertilizer Cooperative Limited, okay, and CRIPCO, okay. So steps taken to strengthen the cooperative movement in India: Ministry of Cooperation established with a distinct administrative, legal and policy structure aimed at enhancing the cooperative movement. The Banking Regulation Amendment Act 2020 empowers the RBI to replace the Board of Cooperative Banks and permit cooperative bank to raise capital through public issue or private placement of equity and preference shares. The National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation aid marketing cooperatives in the states to enhance their marketing cooperation and improve service to their major members. National Cooperative Development Corporation, established in 1963, it offers assistance in the form of loans and subsidies for marketing, processing, storage, and share capital practices in cooperative sugar, spinning, and weaving mills. Then cancellation of the 97th Constitutional Amendment Act. Next is so 2011 by the Supreme Court. This amendment aimed to protect cooperative by amending Article 19(1)(c) and inserting Article 43(b) and in Part 9(b) However, the court ruled that the Part 9b of the Constitution applies solely to multi-state cooperative society within states and union territory. Part 9b of the Constitution outline regulation for operating cooperative society. So this is the government regulation to the constitutional provision how to operationalize the cooperative societies in the country. Part 9b of the Constitution outline regulations for operating cooperative societies. Okay, so Center for Energy, Environment and People about the CEEP Jaipur-based Women-Centric Research and Policy Advocacy Initiative, driving critical research and fostering demographic coalition for low carbon transition and climate justice. So, objective of this CEP is the intersection of energy, environment, and people to enable institutional response, investments, and political shift towards clean energy and sustainable practices. Then next is the non-infectious Nipah virus like the particles. Recently, scientists at the Institute of Advanced Virology in the Donkal have created a new method to produce non-infectious Nipah virus like particles in the lab. The VLPs are molecules that resembles virus but are non-infectious. They are useful for studying viral behavior without the risk of causing disease. The new VLP are tagged with a small peptide called the HIBIT, which enhances their functionality in research, particularly in drug screening and vaccine development. Vaccine development, they are highly effective in creating vaccines for disease such as human papillomavirus, hepatitis B, and the malaria. The immune response, when introduced into the body, the VLP trigger an immune response without causing disease symptoms, effectively training the body to recognize and fight the actual virus. Application: these virus-like particles allow scientists to test vaccines and treatment for the Nipah virus in safer labs with lower safety requirements. This makes the research process safer and more accessible. Then nano machine use. Recently, the VLP have been used as nano machine to deliver drugs to specific sites and cells within the body. Structure and function. Size: the VLPs are small with a radius of about 20 to 200 mm, allowing them to enter lymphatic nodes and activate the immune system. Composition: composed of one or more structural proteins, possibly arranged in the multiple layers, and may include an outer lipid envelope that mimics the virus protective outer layer. Vaccine production: the VLP vaccine can be produced using bacterial yeast, insect, or mammalian cell and are known for their strong immune. Okay, so composition composed of one or more structural proteins, possibly arranged in multiple layers, and may include an outer lipid envelope that mimic the virus protective outer layer. Vaccine production: the VLP vaccines can be produced using bacterial yeast, insect, and mammalian cell, and known for their strong immune response due to the dense display of that epitopes. About the Nipah virus is a zoonotic virus transmitting from animals to humans through contaminated food directly between the people. Disease impact: it can cause a spectrum of illness in humans ranging from asymptomatic infection to acute respiratory problems and fatal encephalitis. It also causes severe disease in animals like the pigs, affecting human economic stability for the farmers. Treatment and management, lack of specific treatment. Currently, there is no specific drugs or vaccine for the Nipah virus. Supportive care, intensive supportive care is crucial to manage severe respiratory and neurological complications in infected individuals. Then next is JK classified rabies as a noticeable disease. The government of Jammu and Kashmir has classified human rabies as a noticeable disease under the Epidemic Disease Act 1897. Nature of disease, rabies is a zoonotic viral disease preventable by vaccine caused by the RABV virus. Affected system, it primarily targets the central nervous system, causing severe brain disease and ultimately death if treatment is not administered before symptoms appear. Transmission, main carrier domestic dog are primary transmitters of the rabies virus to human up to 99% of the cases. It can affect both domestic and wild animals. Mode of spread, the virus spread to human and animal through saliva, typical by bites, scratches or direct contact with the mucous membrane, eye, mouth or open wound. Symptom, early signal, initial symptom includes lethargy, fever, vomiting and anorexia. Advanced symptom, rapid progression into cerebral dysfunction, ataxia, paralysis, difficulty in breathing and swallowing, excessive salivation, unusual behavior, aggressiveness and self-mutilation. Outcome, once clinical symptom manifest, rabies is almost always fatal. Prevention, rabies can be prevented through vaccination. The most cost-effective method to prevent rabies in human is by vaccinating dogs, including puppies, to cut off the transmission at its source. Treatment post-exposure that paralysis. Treatment after exposure to rabies includes wound care, admission of human rabies immunoglobulin, and a series of 4 to 5 rabies vaccine. And this treatment is nearly 100 times more effective in preventing the disease if given properly after exposure. About notifiable disease, a notifiable disease is one that law mandates must be reported to government authority. This reporting helps in monitoring the disease and providing early warning of potential outbreak. Here is who notifies the disease and how the notification process starts. So this is through this, normally the dog it spreads, dog bites. That who notifies healthcare providers, doctors, nurse, and other healthcare professionals are typically required to report cases of notifiable disease. Laboratories, medical laboratory must report findings that indicate the presence of notifiable disease. Hospitals and clinics, both government and private hospitals and clinics are responsible for reporting cases of notifiable disease. Okay, other notify written notification for most disease. Healthcare providers must fill out a certain space form detailing the case and submit it to local or state health authority within 3 days. Verbal notification, in urgent situation, healthcare providers are required to report cases verbally via phone within 24 hours. Electronic reporting, some regions may use electronic. That's good. Interval 245. Okay. So for the most disease, healthcare providers must fill out the specific form detailing electronic reporting system. Some regions may use electronic health records and reporting system to streamline the notification process. Impact of Hunga Tonga Hunga Happy eruption, a volcanic eruption. Recently, a study was conducted in the Journal of Climate to investigate the climate effect caused by the eruption of the Hunga Tonga Hunga Happy volcano. Okay, it erupted on January 15th. Okay, so January 2022 in the Tonga, generating a tsunami and triggering warning across Pacific Basin. So impact ozone layer effect from August to December 2023. There is a large hole in the ozone layer, partly because of the Hunga Tonga eruption. This affect the ozone was shut down and not expanded to past 2023. Weather change. The eruption caused some unusual weather changes. Australia had a wetter summer in 2024, which is not usual for an El Nino year when it is typically dry. The global average temperature only went up by a teeny bit, around 0.01 degrees Celsius. For this regional climate effect, northern Australia might experience colder and wetter winter than usual up to 2029. North America could see warmer winters during the same period. Scandinavia might have a colder winter for this. Atmospheric changes. The eruption change the way air moves in the atmosphere, which would affect weather pattern. How is Hunga Tonga different from the typical volcanic eruption? Unique eruption. Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapi is a underwater volcano that erupted in January 15, 2022. Hunga Tonga Hunga Happy is an underwater volcano that erupted on January 15, 2022. This eruption was extraordinary because it shot a huge amount of water vapor high into the sky, into the stratosphere, about 15 to 40 kilometers above the earth. Due to this earthquake, the usual volcanic effect typically volcano release smoke and sulfur dioxide, which leads to cooling effect on earth. This happens because sulfur dioxide turns into tiny particles that float in the air and reflect sunlight away from the earth. That led to a cooling effect. Honga Tonga impact being underwater. Honga Tonga do not produce much smoke but send 100 to 150 million tons of water vapor into the stratosphere instead. Effect 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 of water vapor in the stratosphere. Water vapor can harm the ozone layer and act like a greenhouse gas, which might warm the earth. About Hunga Tonga, about the Hunga Tonga Hunga Happy volcano. The Hunga Tonga Hunga Happy volcano is situated in the western South Pacific Ocean, west of Tonga. It's situated in the western South Pacific Ocean, west of Tonga. Mainland inhabited islands. Type of volcano, it is a submarine volcano, one of the 12 along the Tofau Arc, part of the larger Tonga Camaratic volcanic arc. Geological formation, this arc is formed by the subduction of the Pacific plate beneath the Indo-Australian belt. Composition of the volcano includes two small uninhabited islands named the Hunga Happy and the Honga Tonga. International Health Regulations Amendment. Recently, the 77th World Health Assembly approved a set of amendments to the International Health Regulations. These amendments, based on 300 proposals from member countries following the COVID-19 pandemic, aims to enhance global health preparedness and response. About the 7th World Health Assembly endorsed amendment to the International Health Regulation objective. The amendment enhanced global readiness and response to public health emergency of international concern and pandemic emergencies. The amendment facilitates equitable access to health products and mobilize financial resources to help developing countries enhance their health system under the international health response or health regulation. Key features of the amendment: provisions for equitable access to health products during emergency, strategy to mobilize financial resources to aid developing countries in building and maintaining necessary health capabilities. The amendment were unanimously adopted on June 1st, 2024 at the 77th World Health Assembly. Significance: they represent step towards greater equity and global solidarity, described as a gift of our children and grandchildren. Then come to the question answer rating. Evaluate the impact of Indian rising number of universities on the overall quality of scientific research and innovation. How does the disparity of resources available among the institutions affect its impact? The exponential rise in the number of universities in India, which now exceed 1,000, has significantly impacted scientific research and innovation. This growth has resulted in increased research output and greater scope for innovation. However, disparity in resource availability among institutions have created challenges influencing the overall quality of and extent of this impact. Notably, while top institutions like the IIT and Indian Institute of Science excel globally, many regional universities struggle with limited funding and infrastructure. Positive impact: increased research output. The growing number of universities has significantly boosted research volume. For example, Indian Institute of Science and IIT consistently rank high in global university ranking, demonstrating high research output. Enhance innovation. The proliferation of university has fostered a culture of innovation across various scientific fields. For example, India ranks second in the paper per faculty metric among Asian higher education system. Global collaboration. The increasing number of universities in India has led to more international research collaboration, enhancing the quality of scope of research. For example, institutions like the IIT Bombay engage in numerous international partnerships, contributing to cutting-edge research and innovation. Higher education access. Okay, so for example, the number of higher education institutions in India more than double from 2008 to 2018, expanding opportunity for students across the country. Specialized research area, new university often focus on niche research areas, driving specialized innovation. For example, the Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad University of Technology excel in specific domains like robotics, artificial intelligence, and renewable energy. Negative impact, quality over quantity. Rapid expansion sometimes prioritizes quality over quantity over quality, leading to diluted research standard. For example, many new institutions struggle with inadequate infrastructure and faculty, affecting their research capability. Administrative challenge, bureaucratic inefficiency in new universities hamper research initiatives. For example, delay in funding approval and rigid administrative process can stifle innovative research projects. Faculty shortage, many new universities face significant faculty shortage, impacting the quality of education and research. For example, regional university often have faculty vacancies that go unfulfilled for extended period, affecting their research output. Overemphasis on teaching. Some university focus on teaching more than research, leading to lack of research culture in the university because they focus more on the teaching aspect than on the research. And university should give more focus on research than on teaching mere. Okay. For example, institution primarily catering to undergraduate education often have limited resources and incentive for research activities. Fragmented research effort. The lack of cohesive national research agenda leads to scattered effect and reduced impact. For example, many universities operate in soils, resulting in duplication of research efforts and inefficient use of resources. Impact of resource disparity, funding inequality, significant funding differences results in uneven research capabilities across institutions. For example, top institutions like the IIT receive substantial funding, whereas global universities struggle with limited resources. Regional imbalance, unequal resource distribution leaves some regions underfunded, limiting their research output. For example, the northern and southern states have more well-funded institutions compared to eastern and the northeastern states, leading to regional disparity in research quality. Limited industry collaboration. Not all universities have strong industry ties, which are crucial for practical research, application, and innovation. For example, institutions like the IIT Bombay excel in industry collaboration, but many smaller universities lack these connections, limiting their research impact. Variable research quality, resource disparity result in varying research quality, with well-funded institutions producing higher quality research compared to the underfunded one. For example, institutions with better resources attract more qualified faculty and researchers, leading to superior research output. Access to technology, disparity in resource availability impact access to advanced research technology and facilities. For example, well-funded institutions can afford state-of-the-art laboratories, while underfunded universities struggle with basic amenities, affecting the quality of research. India's increasing number of universities has greatly enhanced research output and innovation. However, addressing resources disparities through equitable funding and fostering industry academic collaboration is crucial for sustaining and enhancing research excellence. Implementing these measures will ensure all institutions contribute effectively to India's scientific and innovative progress. Then come to the MCQ with reference to the Nipah virus-like particles. Consider the following statement. So these particles can be used to develop antibodies.